Welcome, future cinephiles. Last week, I made a video about 10 movies to watch if you're starting your cinephile journey. It seems y'all liked it. So here are 10 more. So, if you're just beginning your journey into the world of cinema, you might feel overwhelmed by where to start. That's why I've curated this list of 10 essential films, each representing a different genre, era, and directorial vision that will help you understand why movies are so much more than just entertainment. These films are gateways into storytelling, visual language, and emotional depth. We won't spoil a single thing, but we will explore why each one matters. Let's begin.
I want it to be. To be what? Different.
The Graduate, 1967, directed by Mike Nichols. If you've ever felt lost, uncertain about the future, or trapped by expectations, The Graduate will speak to you in ways few films can. This coming-of-age drama wrapped in dark comedy follows Benjamin Braddock, a recent college graduate paralyzed by the weight of societal pressures. The film is a masterclass in subtle storytelling. Every glance, every awkward silence carries meaning. Dustin Hoffman's performance is a revelation, embodying youthful disillusionment with painful authenticity. The cinematography, particularly the use of reflective surfaces, windows, pools, eyeglasses, visually reinforces Benjamin's isolation. Then there's the soundtrack. Simon and Garfunkel's melancholic folk rock score isn't just background music. It's the voice of Benjamin's inner turmoil. The film's tone is neither purely dramatic nor purely comedic. It exists in that uncomfortable in-between, much like life itself. Thematically, it explores love, but not in the idealized Hollywood sense. It's messy, confusing, and sometimes destructive. Director Mike Nichols crafts scenes with such precision that even the simplest moments, a hesitant touch, a delayed reaction, feel loaded with subtext. The film's final act is one of the most debated in cinema. What does it mean? Is it hopeful, tragic, ambiguous? That's for you to decide. For new cinephiles, The Graduate is essential because it demonstrates how film can capture the unspoken anxieties of a generation. It's romantic, but not in the way you'd expect. It's more about the idea of romance, the desperation to feel something real in a world that feels artificial. The Fly, 1986, directed by David Cronenberg. Horror isn't just about monsters, it's about the horror of losing yourself, of transformation, of love decaying alongside the body. David Cronenberg's The Fly is a masterpiece of body horror, but beneath its grotesque exterior lies a deeply tragic love story. The film follows a brilliant but eccentric scientist who, after a lab accident, begins a horrifying metamorphosis. What starts as a thrilling sci-fi premise quickly becomes a meditation on mortality, disease, and the fragility of human connection. Jeff Goldblum delivers a career-defining performance, charismatic, vulnerable, and ultimately heartbreaking. The special effects are visceral and unsettling, but they serve the story rather than overshadow it. Cronenberg doesn't just want to scare you. He wants you to feel the protagonist's deterioration, both physically and emotionally. The film's pacing is deliberate, allowing the horror to seep in slowly. You'll find yourself dreading what comes next, not because of jump scares, but because you care about these characters. The romantic subplot is crucial. It's not just a doomed love story, but an exploration of how far devotion can stretch before it snaps. The tone shifts from scientific curiosity to existential dread, making it one of the most emotionally devastating horror films ever made. For new cinephiles, The Fly is a lesson in how horror can be profoundly human. It's not about the monster you become, but the person you lose along the way. The Silence of the Lambs, 1991, directed by Jonathan Demme. What does it mean to stare into the abyss and feel it stare back? This psychological thriller isn't just about catching a killer. It's about the unsettling intimacy between hunter and prey. Jodie Foster stars as Clarice Starling, an FBI trainee thrust into a deadly mind game with the imprisoned cannibalistic psychiatrist Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins, in one of cinema's most chilling performances. The film is a masterwork of tension. Every conversation is a battle of wits, every glance a calculated move. Demme's direction is claustrophobic, using extreme close-ups to make you feel trapped in these intense exchanges. The horror here isn't supernatural, it's the horror of human psychology, of realizing how easily darkness can wear a polite smile. The relationship between Clarice and Hannibal is the film's dark heart. It's not romantic, but it's deeply personal, almost symbiotic. The film also explores power dynamics, gender, institutional authority, and the vulnerability of being an outsider in a male-dominated world. The procedural elements are gripping, but what lingers are the quiet moments. Hannibal's hypnotic voice, Clarice's traumatic memories, the eerie stillness before violence erupts. For new cinephiles, The Silence of the Lambs is a masterclass in suspense, character study, and the power of restraint in horror. Fantastic Mr. Fox, 2009, directed by Wes Anderson. What does it mean to be wild? To resist domestication, even when the world insists you should conform. Wes Anderson's Fantastic Mr. Fox is a stop-motion marvel, a film that pulses with vibrant colors, meticulous symmetry, and a dry, wry wit that feels both childlike and deeply sophisticated. On the surface, it's a playful heist movie about a clever fox outsmarting three greedy farmers. But beneath its whimsical exterior lies a story about identity, family, and the tension between instinct and responsibility. George Clooney voices Mr. Fox with effortless charm. Balancing roguish confidence with midlife vulnerability, he's a hero who refuses to let go of his wildness, even when it endangers those he loves. The animation is tactile and warm, every frame brimming with texture. Fur, fabric, and autumn leaves feel almost tangible, a reminder of the handmade artistry behind every movement. The humor is quintessential Anderson. Deadpan, absurd, and delivered with perfect comic timing. Who else could make the word cuss so hilarious? Yet, the film never sacrifices emotional depth for laughs. There's a melancholy beneath the mischief, particularly in Mr. Fox's relationship with his son, Ash, who struggles to live up to his father's legacy. The score, a mix of banjo twangs and Alexander Desplat's folksy compositions, adds to the film's offbeat rhythm, making even chaotic chases feel like a carefully choreographed dance. Thematically, it's about rebellion, not just against farmers, but against the mundane, against settling for safety when your soul craves adventure. For new cinephiles, Fantastic Mr. Fox is a testament to how animation can be just as nuanced and emotionally rich as live action. It's a film that refuses to be pigeonholed as just for kids. It's thrilling, yes, but also deeply human, or, well, deeply foxy. Moonlight, 2016, direct Barry Jenkins. How do you find yourself when the world keeps telling you who you're supposed to be? Barry Jenkins' Moonlight is a quiet storm of a film, a triptych of a young black man's life, told in 3 acts that ache with tenderness, loneliness, and the search for identity. We meet Chiron first as a child, nicknamed Little, bullied for his sensitivity, then as a gaunt teenager weathering violence and betrayal, and finally as a hardened adult who has built armor to survive. The film is not just about sexuality, though that is a crucial thread. It's about masculinity, vulnerability, and the ways we learn or fail to love ourselves. The cinematography by James Laxton is breathtaking, bathing Miami in ethereal blues and neon hues, making even the grittiest environments feel dreamlike. The score, a haunting blend of classical strings and chopped and screwed hip-hop, mirrors Chiron's fractured sense of self. Naomi Harris and Mahershala Ali deliver powerhouse performances in limited screen time, embodying figures who shape Chiron in ways both nurturing and devastating. But the film's heart lies in its silences. The way Chiron's eyes betray emotions he can't voice, the way a touch on the shoulder lingers like a prayer. The third act is a masterclass in restraint, culminating in a scene so tender it feels like exhaling after holding your breath for years. For new cinephiles, Moonlight is essential because it proves cinema can be poetry. Every frame, every glance, every hesitation is loaded with meaning. It's not a traditional romance, thriller, or drama. It's all three, woven into something profoundly intimate. My Neighbor Totoro, 1988. Directed by Hayao Miyazaki. What if wonder wasn't just for children, but a way of seeing the world we've forgotten as adults? Hayao Miyazaki's My Neighbor Totoro is a gentle, luminous ode to childhood imagination, a film where the line between reality and fantasy blurs like sunlight through leaves. The story follows two young sisters, Satsuki and Mei, who move to the countryside to be near their ailing mother, only to discover a world of friendly forest spirits, most notably the giant grinning Totoro. There's no villain, no apocalypse to avert, just the quiet magic of exploration, sibling love, and the natural world breathing around them. Miyazaki's animation is lush and tactile. You can almost feel the wind rustling the grass, the weight of raindrops on an umbrella, the warmth of Totoro's fur. The film's pacing is deliberately slow, inviting you to linger in its world rather than rush toward plot points. Totoro himself is a masterpiece of character design, neither fully animal nor god, but something in between, a creature whose presence feels ancient and comforting. The film's emotional core lies in its portrayal of childhood resilience, how children process fear and loneliness through play, how they cling to wonder as a lifeline. Joe Hisaishi's score is a lullaby of piano and strings, evoking nostalgia for a time you might not even remember. For new cinephiles, My Neighbor Totoro is a reminder that cinema doesn't always need conflict to be compelling. Sometimes, it's enough to bask in the joy of existence. It's not scary, though it has moments of melancholy. Not thrilling in the traditional sense, but thrilling in its quiet revelations. It's a film that feels like a hug, one that stays with you long after the credits roll. Double Indemnity, 1944. Directed by Billy Wilder. How far can desire take you before it becomes a noose around your neck? Billy Wilder's Double Indemnity is the blueprint for film noir, a shadow-drenched descent into lust, greed, and the inevitable unraveling of a perfect crime. From the very first frame, a speeding car under the cover of night, a man's voice rasping into a dictaphone. You know this story ends in ruin, and yet you can't look away. The film follows an insurance salesman, Fred McMurray, playing against type with startling cynicism, who falls under the spell of a married woman, Barbara Stanwyck, the queen of icy allure. And together, they hatch a scheme to murder her husband and cash in on his policy. What follows isn't just a thriller, it's a psychological autopsy of two people who think they're too smart to get caught. The dialogue crackles with venomous wit. Every line is a razor blade wrapped in silk, courtesy of Wilder and Raymond Chandler's script. The cinematography is a masterclass in chiaroscuro, with Venetian blinds slicing characters into prison bars of light and shadow, trapping them in their own deceit. The femme fatale trope was never more chillingly realized than here. Stanwyck's Phyllis Dietrichson isn't just seductive, she's a predator who knows exactly how to weaponize male arrogance. But the real tension isn't in whether they'll get away with it. It's in watching two people who thought they were partners realize too late that neither ever trusted the other. For new cinephiles, Double Indemnity is essential because it's the birth of noir's existential dread. The idea that we're all just one bad decision away from becoming the villain of our own story. It's not scary in the traditional sense, but it's terrifying in how casually it exposes the rot beneath the American dream. Vivre sa vie, 1962. Directed by Jean-Luc Godard. What does it mean to be free when every choice only tightens the chains? Jean-Luc Godard's Vivre sa vie, My Life to Live, is a film that dissects alienation with the precision of a philosopher and the soul of a poet. Structured in 12 vignettes, it follows Nana, Anna Karina, Godard's muse and then wife, a Parisian woman who drifts from a failing marriage to petty theft to sex work, all while searching for something she can't quite name. The film isn't a traditional narrative. It's a series of moments, some mundane, Nana crying in a cafe while Passion plays on the jukebox, some surreal, a lengthy debate about language and morality in a record store, all building toward a devastating meditation on agency. Godard's camera is restless, circling Nana in long takes that feel like a dance or a prison, depending on the scene. Chapter headings, even a recitation of Poe's The Oval Portrait, forces you to engage intellectually. Even as Karina's performance, all wide eyes and defiant shrugs, pulls you into raw emotion. The film is deeply romantic, but not in the way of Hollywood. It's romantic about ideas, about the way light falls on a face, the way a cigarette smoke curls in the air. The way a woman can be both utterly present and completely untouchable. The ending is abrupt, almost cruel, but it lingers like a question mark. For new cinephiles, Vivre sa vie is a gateway to the French New Wave, a movement that shattered rules to ask, why should cinema be anything less than life itself? It's not thrilling in the conventional sense, but it thrills in how it makes the ordinary feel like a revelation.
Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this shit.
Jaws, 1975. Directed by Steven Spielberg. What's more terrifying, the monster or the fear that lets it win? Steven Spielberg's Jaws isn't just the first blockbuster, it's a perfect film, a symphony of suspense that rewrote the rules of pacing, character, and how to make an audience scream without showing the villain. The plot is deceptively simple. A seaside town's tourist season is threatened by a great white shark and three men, a police chief, Roy Scheider, a marine biologist, Richard Dreyfuss, and a grizzled fisherman, Robert Shaw, set out to kill it. But the genius lies in what Spielberg doesn't show. For the first half of the film, the shark is a presence felt through John Williams' iconic score, two notes that have become synonymous with primal fear, through the violent jerk of a fishing line, through the way the water suddenly seems too vast, too dark. When we finally see the beast, it's not just a shark, it's evil, a force of nature that exposes human fragility. The film's middle act, set on the claustrophobic boat, is a masterclass in tension, with the trio's personalities clashing as violently as the shark's attacks. Shaw's monologue about the USS Indianapolis is one of the greatest scenes ever filmed. A campfire ghost story that makes you forget you're watching a movie about a fish. But Jaws isn't just scary, it's deeply human. Scheider's Brody is everyman heroism at its best. A man who's afraid of the water, forced to confront the thing that terrifies him most. For new cinephiles, Jaws is the ultimate lesson in economy. Every shot, every line, every silence serves the story. It's a thriller, yes, but also a parable about greed, masculinity, and the cost of denial.
It's not as if she were a maniac, a raving thing. She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
Yes. Sometimes just one time can be enough.
10. Psycho, 1960. Directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
What if the most terrifying monster wasn't lurking in the shadows, but hiding behind the most ordinary face?
Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho isn't just a horror film, it's a surgical strike on audience expectations. A film that dissects voyeurism, guilt, and the fragility of the human psyche with the precision of a scalpel. From its opening moments, a languid tracking shot through a Phoenix hotel window, violating the privacy of a mid-afternoon tryst, the film implicates you in its unfolding nightmare. Janet Leigh's Marion Crane is no saint, but her crime, a desperate theft, feels almost mundane, which makes her abrupt, brutal fate all the more shattering. The infamous shower scene, a 45-second ballet of slashing montage and shrieking strings, courtesy of Bernard Herrmann's dagger-like score, isn't just shocking because of its violence. It's shocking because it happens in broad daylight, in the most vulnerable of spaces, to the character you thought was the protagonist. Then there's Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins, in a performance so unsettlingly tender, it redefined screen villainy. The shy motel keeper whose politeness masks something unspeakable. Hitchcock's mastery lies in his control of perspective. We're forced to see through Norman's eyes, to feel his panic, even as we recoil from his actions. The film's black and white cinematography isn't just a stylistic choice. It's a moral one, stripping away the comfort of color to expose a world where good and evil aren't so easily separated. The final act, with its chilling psychiatric explanation, isn't a cop-out. It's a dare, forcing you to reconcile the monster with the man. For new cinephiles, Psycho is a lesson in how to weaponize cinema itself. The edit, the score, the camera's gaze, to make an audience complicit in their own terror. It's not just scary, it's about fear, how it twists us, how we run from it, and how, Sometimes, it wears a smile and calls you mother. From the cigarette smoke fatalism of Double Indemnity, to the existential yearning of Vivre sa vie, to the primal terror of Jaws, these films don't just entertain, they implicate you. They ask you to sit in the darkness and confront what it means to want, to fear, to love, to lose. That's the power of cinema. It's not just about seeing a story unfold, it's about recognizing yourself in the flicker. So keep watching, keep feeling, and remember, the best films don't end when the credits roll. They live in you. Hope you liked this second list, and please let me know if y'all would like more. I can keep these coming. Please consider subscribing for more movie lists. Dash out.